Nasri looks for Xavi!
Gabriel Martinelli jusqu'au bout. Oh, il a fait l'exploit de Gabriel Martinelli. Le coast to coast façon NBA pour relancer les Gunners.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Kenyan Gunners podcast with me, Omar Bashir and Ahmed Banafa. Ahmed, it is our 20th episode, so confetti, hello, congratulations, and all that sort of stuff.
It's 20 episodes. It's amazing that we've come this far. Thank you everyone for tuning in and listening to our podcast. I know we don't have the biggest listening members or whatever we call ourselves, the ones who are listening, but yeah, thank you guys. We are making this for you as well as for ourselves, so it's a pleasure. 20 episodes, woohoo.
Yes, woohoo, indeed. Have you ever listened to an episode of the podcast? I'd like to ask you that question.
I've listened to bits of it. I gotta tell you, I think I have told you before, I hate listening to my own voice. So I don't know. Guys who are listening, maybe you can tell us. Because personally, I don't know, it's weird hearing the sound of my own voice coming from another. Yes, it's so strange, and I don't like that experience. I actually like listening to podcasts. I listen to a lot of them nowadays, but listening to my own voice, it just sounds strange. How about you? Yeah.
I listened to the entirety.
Yeah, you edit them, so
yeah, I edit them, so I listen to them before anybody else. So there you go. I listened to the first ever episode that we recorded. That's also, I guess, our longest. Apart from that, not really. I think once I've done the editing, I've had enough of myself. So I just want to get it out for everybody else to listen to it.
That's understandable. I completely get that. Good weekend this weekend?
Yes, very good weekend. Tottenham losing. I mean, they lost to Manchester United, and we're here at the Kenyan Gunners podcast. Share no love for Manchester United, but when it's Tottenham, I think we can, maybe put that hat aside. So yeah, I think that Tottenham losing is a good thing. It's always a good thing. And of course, Arsenal won a game.
And good thing about that, well, aside from the Tottenham losing, our win was quite routine, no pressure. Like, first time in a very long time, like well, to be fair, it was Sheffield United, but it was a routine win, which was much enjoyable. There was no stress in the game, no moments where you thought that something's gonna happen. It was just very nice, very enjoyable. So all in all, very good weekend.
Yeah, well, when it was 1-0 and we went before we got to the second goal, I was very pensive, but I guess that's because of our past traumas as Arsenal fans, wherever we have this unique ability of squandering positions of authority and strength to the most abject of oppositions. And I felt that maybe it's just written in the scripts.
Talking about squandering positions of strength, bringing you back to Tottenham, they've lost 18 points from winning positions. That's just lovely.
Well,
18 points.
Well, lads, it's Tottenham.
It's in the history.
It is in the history of the Tottenham. So I think Giorgio Chiellini, I think, said it very well. But I felt that in that particular period, I was pensive, but not due to because Sheffield was playing well or we were playing badly, but just because we it's the trauma. It's the trauma that we've had before. But as you said, overall the game was pretty convincing in terms of our performance and the results. In the end, clean sheet was very nice to have after it's been 32 years since we had the last one. So it was really nice overall, considering as well the lack of players that were the players that were missing, who were considered to be, some of the most important players in our team. Having them missing in for us to play that well. Yes, caveat, blah blah blah. It's Sheffield, they're the bottom of the league, but I think you still have to go out there and play, and I think we did that.
Yeah, and these players missing necessitated a very interesting lineup that was put out by Arteta. It took us a while to get what that was. I remember watching it, and we were just wondering the first 5-6 minutes. We were just sitting there looking and trying to figure out what's going on, because it was a very interesting lineup, don't you think?
Yeah, well, I suppose we should get into it, into the lineups as well. I mean, when the team came out, funny
You
thing,
had no idea.
I can't remember. I was watching. What was I watching? I don't know, but for some reason I thought.
WrestleMania, probably.
Oh yeah, sorry, excuse me. I was watching WrestleMania Night 1, so I was so engrossed into it. I had no idea that Arsenal was playing the next 2-3 minutes. Then you come and tell me, "Hey, bro, the game is starting." I'm like, "What are you talking about? The game is in 1 hour," and I was like, "No, it's like literally in the next few minutes," and I was completely shocked. So I think that shock in itself, I never really got to. Personally, I never really got to like look at the lineup and digest like what was going on. I didn't even know Martinelli was playing until I saw him on the pitch. I was like, "Oh, Martinelli's playing." So I think maybe I'll ask you the question, because you're the one who saw it earlier. When you looked at it, what did you think about it?
Yeah, I was thoroughly confused, because initially I was thinking, what's going on? Is it like a back three? Are we going to see Shaka drop into a centre back position, which he's done before for us, or is it going to be a back four, but with Saka playing back left back, with Shaka, with a midfield trio of Shaka, Partey and Ceballos. I thought that would be the case initially, and I think most of the what do you call them, TV station sites, pages, everyone was really, I think everyone put out a different formation for us, because no one had a clue basically on how we were going to line up. It was completely strange. And even in the, I think, post-match, everyone was, whoever was interviewing Arteta was mentioned that he completely took everyone by surprise, because when despite knowing the lineup, like the versatility of some of those players made you think that it was just very confusing, because you couldn't really put any one player at any one place, aside from the main ones that we already know, the holding Marie. Of course, there would be center backs. Lacazette would obviously be a striker. Pepe would obviously play on the right, and Partey in midfield. Ceballos was interesting. Maybe it's a central defensive midfield or attacking midfielder.
Yeah,
and then
well, let's get
Xhaka
into
could
that.
have
I
been a
mean,
centre back, or
like which part of the when you actually saw the lineup after seeing the game after a couple of minutes, I mean, which role like surprised you the most in terms of, oh, that's interesting. I didn't really think about that.
Saka at the number 10 position. That was okay. Well, we know that he has the ability, because that boy can play anywhere, literally, so far. And so, but we've never really seen him there. So it was kind of surprising that he's actually starting on the number 10. And I expected him to be elsewhere on the left, maybe, or back left rather, and Xhaka starting at left back was also interesting because he has played there before, but he's never actually started there. But I guess given that it was Sheffield and we know they play very compact, so yeah, I think after seeing it and after thinking about it for a couple of minutes, I think I could see the reasoning and I could see what was being tried. Also, Ceballos playing on the left completely kind of threw me off. That was another interesting one as well.
For me, that was the one that really stood out for me. I think with the Shaka one, you can understand because in some formations that we played last year, he sort of dropped back into that position when we were building plays. So it was sort of a familiar role for him, and you could understand why he was there. Same for Saka as well. You explained he is a player who has the technical ability, he has the talent to play in that number 10 position. So him being put in that position, I mean, might have been a surprise, yes, but you could understand the logic and the reasoning behind it. The one for me that really surprised me was Ceballos because I did not really see that coming at all. The use of Ceballos on the left, I mean, it was actually pretty clever from Arteta in the sense that when the game developed, he was higher up on the left, sort of like the overlapping run beyond Martinelli, and then having Shaka sit deep, not move around, but basically dictate
Play.
the play from the left. So it was really interesting. I don't know. Have you had a chance to look at the open mic? This week's is Granit Xhaka. It's really interesting because he's really telling Gabriel Martinelli to stay high and wide, which was very interesting because I think one of the reasons, if you remember, against Manchester United, I think that was in late December, if I recall, or early January, I'm not so sure. But he was brought out of halftime, and Arteta was asked about it after the game. He said it was tactical. We wanted somebody who could stay up the pitch and maintain that sort of line high up, to be the most advanced player on the pitch. And if you look at the heat maps and the positionings of the players in the game, Gabriel Martinelli is actually our furthest player, our highest player up the pitch. And Shaka was really telling him, Gabi, high. And I felt that was interesting because it gave, I think, Gabriel Martinelli, he had defensive actions, but he was encouraged to always stay high because he had the extra layer of security with Shaka and Ceballos on that left-hand side that didn't really require him to track back as much. And I felt that was very, very clever from Mikel Arteta.
Yeah, and with Lacazette's tendencies to drop deep and to congest that midfield, we really needed that out ball. And Martinelli, of course, with the way he plays, very high octane football, a very energetic player. He's always up there, and he's running after every ball. So yeah, I think it was very interesting. We congested the midfield, but we still managed to keep our width, and it was very interesting to see how we countered whatever Sheffield were trying to do. And of course, this was the game to experiment anyways, because we have that problem at left back and it's against Sheffield. Of course, we know they've been poor all season. They haven't been winning any games. They've only had 4 wins, I think, this whole season. So I don't think there's really that much to talk about during the game, aside from the actions that took place, the few actions that took place. But I think most of the game was pretty routine. The only interesting bit, aside from the goals, was the very interesting lineup, which took very many people by surprise. And
well, one interesting thing, I'll beat you there on something. Another interesting that I found out in the game was the very quick and very effective combination between Pepe and Saka. I felt They were on it from the get-go. They exchanged passes. I think it's the highest passing combination
Mm,
in terms of players in the game. They switched positions
mm,
very effectively. They were passing into each other, laying it off for each other. I felt from the onset, I think they were in sync and they sort of had the same idea of what they wanted to do. And I felt that was very impressive. That's something that
mm.
I liked, and maybe something to think about in
The
that
thing with
position.
Pepe, the thing
Mm,
with Pepe is that he really does well when he has someone to play off of, because I think his best moments have come when he has a partner who's helping him beat the press. Because usually, whenever we've seen him struggle, it's because he's usually very isolated. He's asked to do too much, to dribble past too many players, and he
mm,
can't really do all that. You know, he's very um, he we brought him in from Lille, was it? And he's a counter-attacking player, which means he just gets the ball and you have an outlet for him, and he goes on his bike. But with the Premier League, you don't really have the space and time and luxury to do all that stuff. So we've seen him really take advantage of whoever plays in midfield. You mentioned that you haven't seen much of his play, but I think whenever he's partnered with Smith Rowe, um, I've seen some really good bits of play. Maybe this was the highest combination today, but because again, I'm saying the there's a caveat to this game, so there's a slight asterisk if you want to call it that, because of the quality of the opposition. But yes, I have seen it before. Whenever I've seen Pepe thrive on that right wing, or even whenever he's played on the left, it's because he has someone to lay off the ball and then create space for himself, and then he can be put through, or vice versa.
mm.
And he really thrives on that. So his best performances, I feel, have come since the introduction of the number 10 in our formation.
Yeah, I think as well having a fullback who can overlap and give him that option to give him more space in terms of
Mhm.
making his decision easier. I think that also helps a lot. Chambers has bless him, he has got like three lungs, I think, because he overlaps him every single time, and his timing as well of the
Yeah,
overlapping runs are
mm,
absolutely essential. And I think that has helped Pepe, because as a defender, you're thinking about, okay, Chambers is overlapping. I've got Pepe on this side, and then I've got Saka on my inside. What the hell am I going to do? And in that scenario, the talent of the player comes out, and we've seen better, more and more of Pepe coming out in terms of consistent good performances. I think since January, he's been doing pretty well.
yeah.
Yeah, and so I think that in itself, I think for me that was something really nice. I think to add on to, I think what was pretty surprisingly good from what we saw in terms of Arsenal.
Yeah, yeah, all of that was quite interesting, and I think from the off we were on it. We really wanted to try and dispel whatever woes we've experienced over the last week. We drew, of course, against Slavia over in the first Europa League game, which was which was, yeah, I
Crap.
don't think there's definitely words for that, but that sigh, I think, covers pretty much most of it. And then the Liverpool defeat, which was also really bad. So it was really nice to see that we were up for it. You know, like we weren't just gonna let Sheffield come up and do whatever they were trying to do. Whether, if anything, from the, I think it's the second minute, we win the ball from them. I think Partey plays it into Saka, who plays it. No, I think it's who plays it into Martinelli, who plays it into Saka, who misses it by a really small margin. I think it was by a whisker. So yeah, and we proceeded with that. Of course, we didn't really create too many chances, but they were there. Like Martinelli had a few good chances as well.
Yeah.
I remember you were really excited with Martinelli, the way he's very direct and
It's so
taking shots
infectious.
on. Yeah, and I think that also further encourages the team. When you take shots, you see that you are creating, and it further encourages them to push on, to push forward, and actually search for that goal. Yeah, so it was good play from us. This is what I really want to see us more from us, and on a more consistent basis, even against the weaker oppositions. We've not really had this much like dominance on a team, like from the off and consistently throughout the game, with them not having much of anything basically, uh, and getting a comfortable win out of that. It was really, yeah, that's really the main thing for me, was that enjoyable.
Yeah, I tell you what else was enjoyable. That first goal. I mean,
Mm.
the
Wow, what a goal.
yeah, I think everything about it was exceptional. We win the ball high off the park, and then we play it around, and then the movement. I think of Lacazette is essential. I think he starts off from a deepish
Yeah.
position, and then there's some interplay between Saka and Ceballos, of course, with the flick,
All
who
one
was
touch
on it in
play.
terms of those flicks, and finds
Mm.
Lacazette in a decent position, takes a touch, and a very very good finish to make it 1-0. I felt was a very good goal.
Yeah, the thing about that was, I think, yeah, you were right. We win it high up, and I think someone, was it Partey, or I don't remember who actually plays it into Chambers, who finds Partey, and from there, after Partey, it's all one touch, quick passing, Partey into Laka, who's opened himself up like he has space, who plays it first time to Saka, first time to Ceballos, who flicks it into Lacazette's path, who takes a very nice touch to set himself up and finish, which was just absolutely lovely. And that was a really, really wonderful goal and very enjoyable. Actually, I remember I was actually scared when it fell to Lacazette and he took the touch. But yeah, I'm glad he scored that, because whatever happened during the midweek was clearly on his mind. I felt like in the first few minutes he wasn't as much energetic as the other forward players, but I think he
Mm.
kind of picked it up, and the goal further encouraged him, definitely, and he played a really, really good game.
Yeah, I think he said as much as well. He said that, look, I think where I didn't play well on, I think it was in the post match interview. He
Mm,
said I didn't play much as that well on Thursday, and I was here trying to dispel that. I think it's good that this game came as quickly as it did for him, and the level of
mm,
position I think helps. Gets a couple of goals, played really well, and then on to Thursday. So I think it was really good for him. Uh, the finishes were excellent. I think the first one was a culmination of the team goal, the excellent team goal,
yeah.
and the third one, of course, was quite good as well. I think
Mm,
from
the
that period on,
mm,
we were. I never felt.
troubled,
I never felt troubled. I think troubled is I don't know. I'm trying to look for
worried.
a different word, but I never felt that Sheffield were going to win the game.
Mm,
But I was very pensive of whether we would keep a clean sheet because we've just not been able to do that of
yeah.
late, and that was really troubling me. And I felt that, I mean, if we couldn't keep a clean sheet against Sheffield United, who, I mean, they've been a decent team. Last year they were really good. But this year they've just had lots of issues with injuries at the back, and whatever's happened with Chris Wilder and the management of that club. But I felt that we needed to keep a clean sheet at least against this opposition, and I was happy that we were able to do that. Decent performances from the likes of Pablo Mari and Holding. Holding, I think, was
Holding.
iffy-ish. I think Pablo Mari was the more distinguished of the players, the two centre backs. I think he.
Really, I think also Holding had a good game, but maybe I find some of his passing actually to be really nice. The way he's playing, very direct. He knows how to carry the ball, and he plays the ball in the center of the pitch. His distribution is definitely not as good as Luis's, but when he does make a good pass, he really like tries to play it through the middle, whether it's through Partey, through Saka, through finding Pepe or Lacazette in the channels. It's really, I find that quite good from him actually, and for all he does, I think he doesn't really do that much wrong. It's just maybe there's he's just not that quality of player that you want, but he doesn't do much wrong. That's the thing with
Yeah.
Holding. He doesn't offer much, but he also doesn't like he's a good utility player, and there's nothing
He's
wrong
like
with that right
what you
now.
get is what you give what you get is what you get. I mean, you've got Rob
Yeah.
Holding, you get all of Rob Holding.
Yeah, and
Mm.
and for this game in particular, I think he was quite good. I wouldn't say he was bad or anything, but he was good, and he wasn't really troubled as much as he would have been in other top teams. But yeah, so all in all, I think it's fair to say he was okay. And next to Pablo Mari, I think they have a really good partnership, them two,
Mm.
as opposed to the others. I think Holding and Marie are the more like they've conceded less goals or they've kept more clean sheets, I think,
Mm.
whenever they've started together,
Mm.
them two. So yeah, that's also quite interesting to see. I think maybe Marie's calmness and Holding's um, aggressiveness, they kind of form a nice balance,
Yeah.
which is also quite nice. And they ended up keeping the clean sheet, which was, I'm sure, very relieving for them.
Yeah. Uh, Speaking of clean sheets, I was actually expecting Matt Ryan to play. I don't know. I really
To
wanted to
rest
see him.
Leno.
Yeah, I mean, he's been playing forever. We remember we had this discussion about him a couple of weeks ago, about
Mhm,
him, experiencing fatigue, because
mhm.
being a goalkeeper at this level is demands a lot of your concentration for him to do
Well,
so.
he was red carded once upon a time, and he
Yeah,
got one game's rest,
yeah, but that
and
was
and
like
he didn't
that was
play
like
for Germany over the international break as well. So
yeah, maybe, but that was like in January though, the red card. So I mean, maybe he's looked okay. I mean, yeah, I mean, okay. I mean, I just want to see Matt Ryan. I think,
at this stage of it, I think had we been in more cup competitions, then we would have been seeing more of Matt Ryan. But right
mm,
now, I think we're at a stage where we need our number one.
yeah, but
I
in the
think,
league though, what does the
yeah,
league got to
but
offer us?
you, I keep telling you, what uh, our perspective is not really maybe what's going on in the manager's mind. The manager still wants to have the best finishes possible, um, and you can understand him and his point of view as well. So um,
Well,
it's difficult for them. I
I'm
know
I'm
what
not
we want.
I'm not saying I disagree with Leno playing. I
Mm,
feel like, I mean, Matt Ryan is a decent goalkeeper, and you've got a very huge and important tie on Thursday, and you never know
mm,
what's going to happen. I mean, remember how Leno himself got injured against the Brighton game last season with Mope, that freakish accident. It's not an accident,
mm,
but what Mope did. Anything like
mm,
that could happen, and then you hear Leno's out for the season. we're in a game that I think, okay, fine, you want to finish as high as possible, but in terms of priority, Thursday is the big game, all right?
Yeah.
So I think Matt Ryan is a decent enough deputy, in my opinion, for him to play against Sheffield United. Just to give Leno that little bit of a rest, bring some freshness in about the team. Yeah, I mean, he's played the one game against Aston Villa. Yes, we lost the game. He conceded a goal, but I felt he was really good. He was commanding of his box. He made decent stops, was good in claiming crosses and corners. I just feel that he needs more chances, but I mean, at this point we're just sticking with Leno. I don't have an issue with it, but I mean, I would have preferred if we give more playing time to Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just like a caveat. But either way, I was very happy with the clean sheet on Sunday.
Yeah. You're a defender as well, right? I'm sure you definitely did enjoy a lot of that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's very satisfying. It really is. I mean, I can imagine how they were buzzing. I mean, especially it's been such a long time since we got. I can't even remember the last one we got. So it was really nice.
It's been, 13 games? They kept mentioning 13 games, I think,
Yeah,
which was, wow, that's a couple of months ago.
yeah.
Yeah, a lot of that, and then Martinelli also scored on his. I think this is his first start. He's been playing, but it's been a bit part. So it's his first start in a while, and for him to get a goal, and actually he was about to come off, and then Saka got his dead leg, so he kind of had to stay on. And it was nice to see he dedicated the goal to Saka. They apparently have this running thing.
Yeah.
That was really cute. And I gotta say, I really love these boys, man. These guys are the future, and I really hope to see more of them.
Yeah. Well, the thing with Gabriel Martinelli, and I felt that he had an okay game. I didn't think he played badly, but I don't think he played well. But if you look at it, he had a couple of key passes. He had, I think, 5 shots. He had a couple of take-ons.
3 on target.
Yeah. So, I mean, he was effective, even though he wasn't playing well. I mean, we've seen periods, games even, like when, the person who has been preferred over him, Willian, who hasn't, I mean, he's gone like 2-3 games without taking a shot. I mean, there was this running joke that he hadn't had a shot on target the whole season. I think he got a shot on target in October.
And that's the only one we remember. I think even the one over the mid game, it was it hit the post, so that doesn't really count.
Yeah, well, that's unfortunate, really. That was a really good free kick. But I mean, the statistics will go like that's off target. But I think with Martinelli, and that's the whole point. I mean, with having these good players on the pitch, because they will give you something, even if they're not playing at their best. And I think Martinelli wasn't playing. I don't think he was excellent, but him being okay was good enough for him to get a goal, for him to have decent contributions to the game.
100%.
And I feel that we should be inclined to play our better players, because I mean, it's like this example. If you have Aubameyang on the pitch, he's our best finisher, right? He's one of the best finishers in Europe. And if you have him on the team, however badly he's performing, he can come up with something,
Yep.
And I feel Martinelli is gravitating towards that. I mean, you just have him on the team, considering the fact that he hasn't played for quite a while in terms of having a game. I mean, he played 81 minutes, 82, 83 minutes. So for him to be on the pitch for that long, it hasn't really happened for this year at least. And he was really good. And in terms of his contributions, his performance was okay. And that in itself warrants or demands that you need to have enough good players in the team that even if when we're not playing well, we can be able to survive. I mean, like, put it like this way: if David Luiz has a bad game, we're losing, right? So you need to have players like, okay, if he has a bad game, we'll win, but it will be iffy. I think we need to gravitate towards that, and I feel Gabriel Martinelli is an example of a player that we can um, trust him being in the team, knowing that we will probably get a decent enough performance to win most games, I feel.
Yeah, what I liked about it was, and I mentioned this to you, is that yes, he didn't have a good game, but he's asked all the right questions of the manager, right?
Yeah.
His performance tells you that whatever we are getting out of this other player is definitely not good enough. So this is on you, manager, to give me another chance to show you what more I can do. Right? If you're gonna play him now, I've shown everyone what I can do, and we've seen that. Yes, you say he definitely didn't have a that good a game. Like he was okay in most of what he did, but he was very effective, and that's definitely what we need. And he got his chance over Willian 2 days ago, and he made it count, and he made everyone see exactly what he can offer. Even when he's off key, he's still really good. And you're right, the better players offer you better things. Even on their bad days, they're better, definitely, and that's what Martinelli brings. And I'm really, really glad that he got the goal to cement exactly the kind of performance he had, which was, I think, very underrated, given that yes, he didn't have all that good a game, but he was very effective. He, as you said, he had those 3 shots on target, 5 in total. Very, I think he was pressing like a dog throughout the game, uh, following every ball. Like he's just a very nice player to watch. It's very infectious to the whole team, and that's more of what we want. And I'm really, really happy for him, and I'm happy that he showed everyone, and especially the manager, that yeah, this is me, basically re-announcing himself to
Yeah.
everyone.
Yeah, I think 3-0 it ended. We were all happy
Mm,
with it. I think the only disappointing or worrying issue coming out of the game was the Saka injury. I mean, in
yeah,
commentary, they were saying it was probably a dead leg. We don't know.
yeah, I
We'll
think
have
it's
to
been
wait and see.
confirmed. I
Has
think
it?
I think I read it. Yeah, I read it of some of the Reddit posts, that
Oh, I
he's
thought you said it. You read it on, I don't know, getfootballnewshererightnow.com.
No, no, no. I think he is okay. And on Martinelli as well, he was really knackered at the end of the game. But he mentioned cheekily, like a cheeky little bugger, that
Mm,
he's okay to start on Thursday, which I really like. More im, im, what's the word? It's impetus on the manager.
mm.
Yeah, which was also really nice. So yeah, the Saka thing, yeah, it seems like he's okay, and he's gonna be in training this week, preparing for Slavia on Thursday.
Well, I'm just having a look here. Well, there's nothing from Arsenal. I'm expecting,
Mm,
yeah,
I think we'll get it
tomorrow.
officially towards, yeah,
Tomorrow. I think we're getting most of it tomorrow when before Mikel Arteta.
his press conference.
Yeah, his press conference is tomorrow. Sorry, I was reading something else. Yeah, the press conference tomorrow will probably confirm what's happening with him, what's happening with Smith Rowe, what's happening with Odegaard. I mean, if we have those players back, it's a huge boost. We'll just have to
Mm.
wait and see. But I think for Sheffield United, I think I'm done with what I needed to say. Do you have anything more that you want to add?
Not really, unless you want to talk about maybe a man of the match, if you want to just finish with that.
Ooh, we had a poll on Twitter.
How'd that go?
I really should have had this with me. Right. Like I said, resounding win, 70%.
Oof,
Wow.
whoa, okay.
Next was Partey with 15, Ceballos with 12, and I put Pepe in, but he got 3%. I think that's unfair to Pepe. He played okay.
Yeah, Pepe had a really good game as well.
Yeah.
I think people maybe, Lacazette, of course, he scores two
Scored the
goals, so
goals,
he
yeah.
gets, yeah, of course, he gets all the plaudits. But Pepe was really effective, and Martinelli's goal doesn't come without Pepe
Yeah.
doing
Ooh,
a lot
yeah.
of the work. Yeah, because that was actually Pepe's effort, which just rebounded into Martinelli's path.
Mm.
And a lot of the game as well, he played really well, combining with Saka, with Lacazette, with Chambers. I think effective in beating the press. I think he had some good touches when he was coming inside. Keeping the play going, keeping us in possession. Yeah, I think he had an understated, like uh, a low key performance that was really good. I think people tend to focus on the big moments, and that's how they pick man of the matches. And well, I can understand that, but yeah, I think he also had a really good game. So 3% is kind of low, but that's what the
Who's
people
your man
say.
of the match?
My man of the match was also Lacazette. But aside from the goals, Lacazette was really, really important. Whenever he dropped deep, I mentioned this like immediately after his first goal, and even before his first goal, I think he started slow, but he really, really grew into the game. He came in deep. He helped us recycle possession. He was available most of the time, dropping to create those triangles in midfield, just progressing play, creating for himself, creating for others. I think there's some moments where he plays in Martinelli, he plays in Saka. It was a really good performance from him. Yeah, but that's not to say the others. It was really hard for me because as well, like Pepe was up there for me, and Partey was also up there for me. Um, I don't think you put him in, but yeah, for me
I
he was
did.
up there.
But you gotta pick one,
Oh,
and
you
you've
did,
picked Lacazette. I went with Ceballos.
yeah.
I think simply because of how poorly he's been, and for him to come on and just play as well as he did, especially in a role that he's never played before, I felt that he was excellent and sort of made things tick. I think as well, you talked about Pepe having a low key good performance. I think Ceballos is in that category, but he was very integral in the way we build up our play, the way attacks on our left side were created. Giving Martinelli that freedom to stay high up the pitch. I felt he was integral for that, and for me, my man of the match. So yeah.
There you go.
So I think we'll leave it there for part one, and we will come back with part two with some of your questions with more right after this. Welcome back to part two of the Kenyan Goodness podcast. You can follow us on our various social media sites on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. And of course, follow us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Yes, Ahmed, part two.
Is there a subscribe somewhere? Is there a subscribe, like?
No, we're not the YouTube
Guys,
people.
do that if it's
We
there.
are not YouTube people here.
We do have wait, we do have a YouTube channel, bro. What's happening?
Oh yeah.
Like and subscribe,
But I
guys.
did tell people to follow us on you. I mean, well, okay. You see, you've made this complicated. When I say follow us on YouTube, I mean subscribe to us on YouTube. All right, guys. If that wasn't
Yeah, I'm
clear
just putting
enough.
it out there again, you know. No, I'm just like I wanted to be like the YouTubers.
No, we
Like
are.
and subscribe, guys. If it's available, like and subscribe.
Are you happy?
Yes, I am.
All right. All right. You know what? I'm going to let you ask the first question.
Great. Let me see here. This is someone who asks from, is this Instagram? Looks like Instagram. If it looks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, then it's Instagram. Suhail Salah asks, do you think you're winning the Europa League this season? I think that's a very good question. Thank you, Suhail, and thank you for listening and asking questions. We really appreciate it, as we really appreciate our listeners, of course. And I want us to win. Do I think we'll win? I think that will be answered this Thursday, whether we want it as much. I think that's the true test, the litmus test of where we want to be. So Thursday, definitely, that's the one to watch out for us. It's the make or break, I believe, and I think that's also a segue into talking about the game this midweek. Omar, what do you think? Do you think we'll win?
Hold on. That's a very poor answer,
He's
Ahmed.
asked about the Europa League.
No,
What?
that's a poor answer. We want definite answers here. Do you think we're going to win the Europa League? It's a yes or no.
Okay, let me think about it. Okay. This silence is me thinking about it. Do I think we'll win? You see, that's the interesting bit. It's very hard to say yes or no to such a question. Of course, my answer would be yes, but there's a lot of things you look at.
Do you
and,
truly
looking,
believe in your heart of hearts that you are going to win the Europa League? Gun to your head.
I'm dead.
I mean, well, gun to head. I mean, we are Arsenal, the Gunners. I mean, anyway.
You
I don't
answer
know.
it then, since
Well,
you want a yes or no. Exactly. You see,
hold
this wells, and
on.
I don't know.
Tranquilo. Hey,
It's
my
gun to your
friend.
head. What do you mean, tranquilo? Gun to your head.
Wait. I don't think we're going to win the Europa League because I do not think we can handle Paul Pogba. That's it. If Manchester United are eliminated, fine. I don't think they're going to be eliminated. I think they'll make it to the final. And if we make it to the final by some chance, I don't think we can deal with Paul Pogba in the sort of form that he's playing. That's the only reason. If he gets injured, maybe, yeah, fine. But I'm in my assumption I've made that Manchester United get into the final and Pogba is playing the way that he's playing, I don't think we can deal with that. I think we lose because of that. But there's still Granada. There's still who's in the other games? Who's on the other
Roma
side?
and who else? Is it Roma and someone else? I'm not sure.
Well, I think Ole has this fetish of getting out of semi-final cup competition. So, I mean, fingers crossed that he would get out. I mean, Suhail is probably not very happy listening to me say this, but hey, it's a dog eat a dog, and you guys really don't need to win the Europa League. I maybe if for them winning Europa League is like, oh, it's a confidence booster, blah blah blah, first trophy. Well, screw all that. We need this because
need it.
we need the money. We need to. I mean, I can't remember the last time we had a Champions League game. It's so long ago. I think probably Mustafi was playing when we
Ozil
had.
was playing.
Yeah.
Ramsey was playing.
My goodness.
Um,
My goodness.
who else was there? Was
Speaking
Watford there?
this is episode 20, and guess who is number 20? My favorite player, Shkodran Mustafi.
Yeah, definitely your favorite player. I can attest to that, guys. Omar's favorite player, Mustafi Shkodran.
I have got a tattoo of him on my back. His huge head on my back. The whole of it.
Heavy hangs the head that wears Mustafi's tattoo on his back.
Oh my God, I'm so happy he's not here anymore. Right. I mean, yeah, you were segueing into Europa League. We have a big game against Slavia Prague. 1-1 it is on aggregate. We play them on Thursday at their. Yeah, I mean, our team, our local team would be unbeaten in the Czech League. So, okay, that's a bit unfair. I mean, they've been really good. So, I mean, how do you think that goes?
Like I said, I think it depends on how much we want it, and we will see that. We should see that from the off, on the day of the game. So if we want it, I think we can win the game because we have. I keep saying this: we have the ability and we have the potential, and we can do it. We have the players to do it. So it's just up to us. If we want it, we definitely win the game, and it's comfortable, and we get away with it. If we respect them too much, I think it's theirs, and they have this. I mean, they have the advantage. Basically, they have an away goal so far, so that worries me right now, I think it just depends on how much we want it. If we get the first goal very early on, I think we can go on to win the game, and that's what I want to see from us.
It would be really nice if we got an uncomplicated win in that game. So
yeah, that would be beautiful.
Yeah, and then I think we've got enough in our team to win. I didn't really see much of them in the first leg. I know the coach said that they played badly, but I really didn't see like much in their performances in terms of individual and collectively how they could affect us. I think I agree with you. We gave them too much respect. We need to get away from that. We need to go out there, show that we're the big team. We are the ones who want it more. And I think if we play decent enough, I think we should be able to win the game. And it'll be interesting. I think that the thing that's interesting because we don't know who's going to be available. If Smith Rowe and Odegaard are available, the lineup changes completely once again. And and Aubameyang, of course, I think one person we all do not want to see is Willian. And I think if he plays, it will happen. Not because I don't like him. I actually want him to do well, but I think at this moment in time, he's not aiding in our cause at all.
We've seen enough of him to decide what he can bring to our team, and I don't think anyone sees anything anymore from him.
Yeah,
aside from Arteta.
the one person whose opinion actually matters is the one who thinks Willian has something to because like we always have this excuse that he's in the team for technical security. He loses the ball all the time.
It's so, literally all the time.
It's so frustrating.
Whenever we see him, it's horrible. It's just...
He loses the ball. He can't run. He can't dribble. He can't shoot. He can't cross. He can't do anything.
Except shoot a free kick.
Yeah, I mean, I wish we had I don't know. Have you ever played hockey before?
No, not really.
Well, I was a hockey player in high school. I was the captain of my team.
Wow. Wow.
Well, the hockey, there's this, like, you can substitute a player in and out, in and out, in and out. So, like, I feel like if we had that in football and we just had a free kick, we'll substitute Willian in, let him take the free kick, and then just get him out. I think that would be the best use of Willian. And seeing that is not going to happen, his best use is on the bench. Yeah.
Yeah, aside from that, I think it's quite tricky to call out a lineup given that we don't know who's available. But if we had basically whatever we had over the weekend, then I would start with whatever we had over the weekend, exactly as it was. I think that's good enough. I think Gabriel for Marie, that's whoever comes in, whoever comes out, I think they're both quite decent. So maybe that's the only change I can see us making. But otherwise, if all we have available is what we had over the weekend, then start that team because that was a decent enough team.
Yeah, I mean, again, it depends on what's available. I feel like if Odegaard and Smith Rowe or either one of them are available, they will start. And that affects everything around it in terms of who you play near the players, behind them, in front of them in terms of striking options. So it's really difficult to say at this period in time, but we will know soon enough, I suppose.
Yeah, I think there's not much else to be said about that game. I think we're all looking forward to it with somewhat trepidatious. So we'll get there, and hopefully we grind out that win and we sleep happy.
Non-complicated. I don't want any grinding. I want silk performance. I need to be 2-0 at halftime. Do you know how 2-0 at halftime is so comforting? Do you remember when we were 2-0 up those days, all those years ago when we were 2-0 up in games? I mean, it's Emirates Stadium. It's probably mid autumn. You know, I mean, some stupid team has come and we're like 2-0 up halftime at the Emirates. Goals from Ramsey and Walcott. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
And we complained during those times. I mean, if we knew how good we had it then.
That's the level we want to be, though. Like,
no, we don't want. We want to be higher.
We want to complain about being fourth, not complain about being. That's where we want to be. Next season, at least, we want to complain about being fourth, and then we go on from there.
Well, the next season is...
It's coming sooner than we think, bro.
Yeah. I mean, wow. I mean, it's good. It could go so many ways. It could go so many ways. It could be absolutely brilliant or absolutely awful, and there's no in between. That's the thing. So I mean, you know what? At this point, I don't care. Let's just get on with it.
Yeah. Any other question? I think we don't have that many. I don't think. Listeners, please come on. We depend on you guys for this part of the podcast.
We'll start singing songs, and I'll tell you this, guys. You do not want to listen to us singing. So, really, we are trying.
Now that you mention it.
What?
I'm sure they would want to hear you sing now that you mentioned it.
No, we are trying to help you relax. We're not trying
to hear Omar sing, guys. Start it up. Listen to the podcast.
I see what you're doing. It's not going to work. It's not going to work.
You brought it up.
Look, let's end it there before Ahmad gets any more crazy ideas. in his head. Thank you very much for the listeners for tuning in again. 20th episode. Thank you for those who've been with us since episode 1. Hope you're here for the next 200, hopefully. Thank you to Ahmed as always. Thank you to all those who send in their questions. And we will see you hopefully after a good win in the midweek and progression into the semi-final of the Europa League. From us here, Kwaherini.
Bye-bye.